Hey, what's up YouTube? I decided that Stream City was in dire need of some pizza, so in this video, I'll be showing you how to make your very own Papa John's. This is the amount of space required to make your build. Feel free to make this grid in your world if you do feel as though it will help you out. Here are all of the materials that you will need to make the build. Please do make sure that you have access to all of these materials and enough of them as well. We are going to start at the front left hand corner of the grid. So if you've made it, work your way here and then count backwards 1, 2. This is the starting position. Begin by placing 4 bricks on top of each other. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then extend a row of bricks to the right. Then place a row of bricks backwards. Then place a row of cyan concrete going right. This is the same height as the bricks. In the ground right of this, dig 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. Replace it with cyan terracotta. On the end of the row, to the right of it, place a row of 4 cyan concrete, 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend right by 3, 1, 2, 3. Join down to the ground. In the ground right of this, dig 2 blocks, 1, 2. Replace using cyan terracotta. Right of this, we're going to place a row of 4 cyan concrete extending up from the ground. Then, right of this, we are going to place 2 rows of bricks, 1, 2, and they also want to be as high as the cyan concrete. We can extend these bricks an entire row forwards to match what we have over there. And then on the right side of the build here, we are going to take the inner part of the bricks and dig a hole in the ground, 1, 2, 3 rows extending backwards, place cyan terracotta in the hole. Then we want to, right of this, place a cyan terracotta with 3 birch planks on top, 1, 2, 3, this is important later. In front of this, we want to place bricks. Then extend the bricks 10 rows backwards, or, since we already have 1 row, 9 rows backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Right of this, we want to place a row of 6 bricks, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Extend inwards by 3. 1, 2, 3. And then extend right by 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we are able to join all the way back to where we first started. What we can also do is take all of these bricks that we have placed and we can raise them up to be the correct height, which is going to be the same height as the bricks and the cyan concrete and whatever else we might have lying about. So the next thing we want to do is grab the smooth quartz slab and place smooth quartz slab in front of the top of the doorway, which is here. This leaves us enough room for a double door. We can extend the smooth quartz slab left and right until it is 1 row away from the brickwork on the left and right. Place cyan concrete on top of the smooth quartz and extend the cyan concrete left and right by 1. This will touch the bricks diagonally. Add another row of cyan concrete on top. Then we want to 1 row inwards from the left and right side, place smooth quartz stairs facing outwards like this, with smooth quartz block in between, so we get this nice effect with the sign. What we can then do is behind the sign, so this is an important distinction, we can extend the bottom of the cyan concrete outwards, left and right, and we can line it up with the bricks that we have on the left and right, to which we then want to simply extend all of the cyan concrete across the back of the build, and it will sit nicely on top of basically the empty space that is left by the brick. So this is going to form the roof. There we go. Perfect. So the next thing that we're going to do is we are going to extend the top of the sign backwards, just an additional row. So this includes all of these stairs and all of the cyan and all of the smooth quartz. It just makes it look a little bit more 3D from the side. And then we are going to grab our smooth quartz slabs, and we want to have 2 rows of smooth quartz slabs. Basically, one in front of the bottom of the cyan concrete that we have placed around the roof, and the other one will be suspended half a row above the cyan concrete. So it will be touching it diagonally. We don't want to have any gaps or anything like that. And this is about as complicated as the roof will get. There we go. That's perfect. So the next thing that we will do is we will install the glass. This is very simple. The windows for the restaurant are a bit limited. We have 2 at the front. We just have a big one on the left side here that we're literally just filling in with glass pane, and then we have a smaller one here on the right side. We have an entrance, which all we're going to do here is just place a row of glass pane here on the left side with an end rod just right in the middle, suspended in front of the door. Then we're going to come over to the right side here, and this is the last window. All we will do is place some glass pane in between just to join both sides together, the front and the back. It's as easy as that. Next up, we're going to work on the inside a little bit. So first of all, I'm just going to put a couple of lanterns up, and this should hopefully provide us enough light for now. And we are first of all going to take care of the walls. So here on the right, I'm going to extend back the cyan terracotta and the birch planks that we placed earlier. On the left side of the build, I'm going to install a row of cyan terracotta and rows of birch planks above it, extending up to the ceiling, so there is even on both sides. And then we're going to grab red concrete, and we are going to place, or as a matter of fact, it might be easier that across the back first of all, we place cyan terracotta extending over to the right, only in front of the extended out brickwork with birch planks above. And then from here, it might be a little bit easier as we are working with the more true dimensions of Papa John's. So we're going to place a red concrete in the back left-hand corner of the build, leaving a gap of 2 in front of this. We only need to leave a gap of 2. We're then going to place a stone brick, to which we then want to extend to the right by 1, and add another row on top. Place some glass pane on top of the bricks, and then extend the stone bricks here to the right by 7 using red concrete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 like this. We're going to extend up to the ceiling, and then we're going to extend all of these red concretes to the right, except we are going to leave a little gap just right here. I'm going to install another lantern just because it's quite dark in here, isn't it? Maybe one here, actually. And in this little area in the back, I'm going to place red concrete just here on this left side. We might even cover this entire wall in concrete. And then we're going to kind of place a row. We're going to extend the red concrete here in the back corner. We're going to extend it across and join it to this little wall. And now we're going to make a bit of a partition in that we're just going to join the red concrete together at the top, and we're going to leave these 2 blocks alone so that we can walk through this. We can even make a little employee entrance slash exit here at the back, and that'll provide us a bit more light too. We can even stick a lantern here as well. Maybe we'll place the lanterns at the entrances slash exits. That might be a good idea. And then we're going to destroy all of... Okay, well, we're going to destroy all of the grass, or maybe we'll use a better word. We're going to replace the grass, and we are going to instead use some quartz bricks. So the quartz bricks are going to serve as the floor, and I think it's just a nice choice. I really like the white, like it brings... It feels quite dark inside here, so it makes sense that we would want to have a lighter floor, and I just like the texture of the brick. So this can be placed everywhere that grass was, is, and used to be. With that complete, we can now add more detail with the available materials. So, in the front of the store, we are going to have a long bench that we can eat at. So we're going to place an end rod on the left and right side of the window frame, string in between, and then red carpet on top of all of this. Then we're going to place a couple of spruce fence gates, kind of placed however you like. If you want, you can separate them evenly. If not, you can have a bit more of a gap and then have a couple next to it. It really doesn't matter how you want to do it. And we're going to have these open. Now, I actually prefer them to open backwards like this, and it's just a little improvised seating. You can kind of do whatever you like with this, and they're basically just little stools that you can sit and eat at, so however you want to do that. On the left side here, or I suppose right side, depending on how you look at it, we also want a tiny little table. It's in the middle of the window using an end rod, red carpet on top of it, and then once again we're going to have the same sort of design here. So again, I like the fence gates kind of opening backwards like this. You might like something else, it's up to you. So the next thing that we're going to do is for the counter space, we are going to have a couple of smooth quartz slabs on the left and right side of the counter. On the back part of the counter here, so this is like the customer part and then this is the employee part, we'll have a polished black stone stairs in the corner, polished black stone pressure plate. This is going to just be like a little cash register. We'll have a black concrete suspended from the ceiling. This is going to be a little bit of a menu. We'll chuck loads of stuff on that later. I would also suggest placing a lantern at the back here just to brighten things up a bit. And then we're going to come into the back room where the pizzas are actually made, and we are going to create a little bit of counter space. So next to this red concrete here, a brick, leave a gap, a couple of bricks, and then there you go. There's not too much more to it. So now we are going to head out of the build and we are going to do what you guys know is my favorite thing ever. We're going to make these signs. So for the sign, we need a loom, white banners, red dye, white dye. Let's do it. So let's throw the loom down, open it up, chuck a white banner in here, and we will make the most difficult letter of the bunch, which is P. So that's a vertical row of red on the right side of the banner. Throw the red dye out, white dye in. Lower half of the banner wants to then be white. Throw the white dye out, put red dye in. We want a horizontal row through the middle, vertical row on the left, horizontal on the top. That is P. We can actually use that twice, luckily. Next is going to be A. So vertical row of red on the left, right, horizontal on top, horizontal through the middle. A. That's another one that we can use twice. So we can then move on to J. So that's horizontal across the top, vertical on the right, and then horizontal at the bottom. Next is going to be O. So vertical on both sides, horizontal at the top and the bottom, and that will give us O. Next is going to be H. So vertical on the left, then the right, horizontal through the middle. Next is going to be N. So that's a vertical row on the left, vertical row on the right, diagonal, top left corner to bottom right corner. Last but not least, we need S, which is something that I actually mess up a lot. So I actually like to do horizontal at the top and the bottom. And then if I wasn't looking at this, I would have to try out both of these. I don't know why in my mind, like every other letter I know off the top of my head, but for S I get confused with Z. So it is the top left corner to bottom right corner. Hopefully it's not just me that happens to. So for Papa John's, the sign is just going to go in this outward double-spaced row of cyan concrete that is oh so perfect for it. Leave a gap of 1 on the left. P, A, P, A, gap, J, O, H, N, S. Perfect. Papa John's, what more can I say? Okay, next up, we are going to add a little lamppost in front of Papa John's. I am going to personally place mine. It's basically lined up with the cyan concrete here on the right side of the small window. I'm going to leave a gap of 2, and then on the end of the grid, place a smooth quartz, a couple of diorite wall on top. Then I'm going to place a sea lantern to the right, smooth quartz slab on top, and there we have just a really simple street light. You could even place a stone button at the bottom, and it just looks sort of nice. That's all I'm going to say. So the next thing that we're going to do is just dig in front of Papa John's. This is something that you may or may not require, depending upon how you're placing this and where and how you're integrating it into your city, but my personal Papa John's has to have some smooth stone in front of it. As you can see, it's connecting to a series of footpaths and pavements, and it just wouldn't look right if I didn't just integrate it into the city a little bit. So as you can see, just in front of that cemetery there, it leads all the way around into kind of like a little square, and it just all joins together. I'll also do that at the end a little bit as well, just to clean things up. But now that that's done, we are going to head inside, and we are going to work on the kitchen a little bit first. Going to place a double chest just here. This is in between the little partition between the kitchen and the serving area. We want to, in the corner here, place a couple of blocks of iron with stone buttons in front of them. A couple of blast furnaces in between these 2 rows of bricks. Then we are going to grab, we just need a bunch of stuff here, so like we need item frames, iron trapdoors, stuff to put in the item frame, so we'll need steak, carrots, or anything that you like really. We need paper for that also, birch trapdoors, paintings, flower pot, and also red candles. In the corner here, we are going to place a few red candles, or maybe even 2 of them. 3 actually looks quite good as well. And this is meant to emulate the sauce that will be used at the base of the pizza. So this would be used for a tomato base, and if you wanted to, you could use brown candles for a barbecue base. For those of you that are a bit more sophisticated with your palettes. I don't know, I like both of them. And then on the counter here, we're going to place a couple of item frames, steak, carrots. Above this, we're going to suspend a shelf, and off the shelf a couple of item frames with some papers in there. And these are basically just meant to be like orders for whoever's making the pizza. They know what they're going to be making. And then if we come to the front of the store here, we are basically going to plaster the black concrete with different paintings. So we may want to include, not that one, maybe that one. So just a few different paintings, and those are ambiguous. If you wanted to, you could also use item frames to split this up if you wanted to. If you didn't want to just have like full-on paintings. I got rid of the 2 worst paintings to get rid of because I think these slide under the item frame. No, they don't actually, so that's perfectly fine. But basically, it's just meant to look like a little bit of an order board, so you could include in there whatever you wanted to. And then we are missing but a few things. So we need a brewing stand, tripwire hook, flower pots are always useful, birch trapdoors are useful. We don't really need paintings unless we do place them around a little bit. And we will also need the oak door and levers. So in this back corner here, we want to have a brewing stand with a lever above it, tripwire hook to the right, flower pot underneath the tripwire hook. Then we are going to place right of this a couple of birch trapdoors, and this kind of just looks like pizza boxes to me. I mean, it's not too far off, right? And then, I mean, that's pretty much it, unless you want to kind of like litter the counter with more things, and that's completely up to you. That might look good. I'll leave that in your very capable hands. we need a couple of doors, one at the front here just leading into the kitchen, and then at the back here leading out. So just before we move on, I'm thinking that we can do a bit of a better job with this little order board. So I'm thinking that we can just place some different foodstuffs in here that we could potentially find on a pizza or in like a Papa John's. So I'm thinking like any sort of meat would make sense on a pizza. Fish, not everybody's favorite, but tuna and sweet corn, you know, popular choice among some. And then any sort of other meat could, you know, get thrown on a pizza. Honestly, carrots are a bold choice, but I'm sticking with it. And then these berries, I mean, that could be anything. That could just be like extra tomato sauce or something like that. It wouldn't be uncommon to get like fries or wedges from, you know, from a place like this. And also dessert, aka cookies. I mean, I'm not sure if Papa John's do cookies, but if you guys have ever had the pleasure of having the Domino's cookies, you guys know what I'm talking about. Quality item. Another thing to consider inside Papa John's is the lighting. So if you take sea lanterns and we take this walkway in between the counter and the seating area, this gives us a good place to actually install some lights. So I think if we begin by leaving a gap of one on both sides on the left and right, and then we kind of figure out the middle space here, then we can have some nice evenly spaced out lights. So leave a gap of one on the left and right, and then a gap of two between these in the middle, and then we've got some evenly spaced out lights. It would be quite nice if this middle light actually like lined up here, so I don't know if that's something that looks okay or whether I preferred it before, but I'll let you guys kind of figure out what you do prefer. Now, next up, as I mentioned earlier, I am going to integrate this into the city a little bit better. So, first of all, I just have to dig out probably a 2-block gap, but it might get refined a little bit later. This may not be Papa John's final place. So I'm just going to dig a couple of rows around Papa John's and replace it using some smooth stone. Now, with that done, I basically just want to add a dumpster back here, which is just going to be a row of, say, 3 green concrete like this. And maybe we'll stack it 2 rows high, and we'll place some oak trapdoors on top to just look like a giant dumpster. An alternative to this is to use green shulker boxes, and the benefit is that you can actually like place stuff inside of them. So you could place like the green shulker boxes even at the bottom if you wanted to, and keep the green at the top. And I don't know, it kind of just adds a little bit of extra to it. Now, also, if you are looking to kind of like integrate this into a city a little bit better, and you're kind of looking for extra things to add around the build, a moped would be a pretty cool choice, as it would of course serve for the delivery person's vehicle. So it would actually look kind of cool if you had a little moped outside the front of the store with a delivery bag on it. So I actually have a separate tutorial for this, so I'm not going to show you how to make it in this video, but I'll leave a link down below in the description just in case you wanted to add this for yourself. I think that it's a really cool build to add. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope that you've enjoyed this tutorial. If you're new around here, please do consider subscribing and clicking that little bell next to the subscription button. That'll make sure that you get to see all of my videos. If you want to make anything else from Stream City, of which there are so many things to choose from, check out the description below and the top of the comment section for the City Builds playlist. There is so much. Also, if you have any interest whatsoever in playing in this particular world, members get a brand new fresh download link of Stream City every single time it has been updated. So you can find that if you're a channel member in the community tab. I'll leave that up to you if you're interested in it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye!